Did you know that some so-called healthy foods can slow down your thyroid and actually flare Hashimoto's? So let's clear up some confusion and design a simple Hashimoto's healing plate that you can start today. I'm holistic functional doctor Anya Szigeti, and I share science-based natural strategies to help balance your thyroid and your hormones. So make sure you subscribe if you're ready to feel energetic and clear again. So the purpose of the Hashimoto's diet is not restriction. That is not our goal. Our goals are to calm inflammation and support natural thyroid hormone conversion. This means identifying immune triggers and eating in a way that heals your gut and balances your blood sugar. So what do we want to eat more of? So without having additional data. So I definitely want to mention that I do a lot of testing in my practice with my one-on-one patients. And this way we can actually get super detailed information on you, and then we can customize this even more. So this video is just general. If you want more customized, definitely check out my link and book a free consult so we can see if we're a good fit to work together. But in general, anti-inflammatory proteins. So what are those? We're looking at wild caught fish. Like I love fatty fishes like salmon, huge fan of sardines. But wild caught, organic pastured chicken, grass-fed beef, colorful fruits and veggies, leafy greens, healthy fats like avocado, olive, coconut, selenium-rich foods. Some of my favorites are Brazil nuts. Again, love sardines. And if you can tolerate eggs, absolutely add those in as well. We want sources of iron and zinc from nature as well. So pumpkin seeds, lentils, and yes, organ meats. I do love adding in some liver. I know some people have some tough time with that. I have some amazing recipes coming out of my new book to help to incorporate liver in that you wouldn't even know it was in there. Fermented foods in my first book, You Can't Outrun Your Fork. I do a recipe in there for sauerkraut, which is fantastic. Super simple, super gut healing. Water kefir is another one of my favorites. And also I have a recipe in there for coconut yogurt as well. So what do we want to reduce and avoid? So one thing is gluten. Gluten's a tough one. It's tough for people that don't even have a gluten sensitivity or allergy to process. There is what's called molecular mimicry with thyroid tissue. We'll dive into that in a separate video. But gluten with Hashimoto's is a simple, just most people are going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you as well, just easier to just avoid it. And now don't go running and loading up your cart full of gluten-free things, as I'm writing in my second book. The gluten-free products that are processed are often actually sometimes worse and can swing your blood sugar even more, causing more inflammation than the gluten-filled counterpart. So let's just pull gluten and gluten products and gluten-like products out of our intake to help to calm inflammation. Next up is dairy. I know I love cheese. Cheese addict over here. But casein, which is the protein in dairy, can trigger immune cross-reactivity. So these are a couple, again, of the things that I test for. I did test myself. I came back very high for casein, even though I wasn't having direct overt symptoms. That's the tough part with sensitivities. My casein levels were off the charts. So I absolutely had to pull that. And again, if we're just looking for basic guidance, that is a basic step. Doesn't, not required for everybody, but the deeper work is when we find out exactly what's specific for you. This is just general recommendations. Soy can be another tough one because that can interfere with thyroid hormone uptake. Again, not across the board for everybody, but just general recommendations. Now, of course, refined sugars, processed oils, these trigger inflammation just at a baseline. So removing those from our diet as much as we can, highly recommend it. That's going to be taking out the ultra processed foods. So that is a huge category of, unfortunately, the standard American diet, also known as SAD. About 60% of the SAD diet right now is full of ultra processed foods. So that's going to be the refined sugars, processed oils. So if we cut those, that's going to help reduce inflammation across the board, which is going to definitely make you feel better, release excess weight, have more energy, less bloating, all those sorts of things as well. Now, goitrogenic, so cruciferous vegetables. When we eat them raw, there is some discussion with that, especially early on in a Hashimoto's journey, when your thyroid's really unhappy, being able to add them in later is a definite benefit. There's lots of health benefits. Cooking them, just saute them or throw them in a soup and you can get all the health benefits from them. But the raw is where it's a little bit more challenging. And if we look at Chinese medicine, specifically for thyroid imbalances, we want to have warming foods anyway. So eating less raw foods and eating more warm, even lightly sauteed. I love things in soups because then you can capture all the nutrients. Sometimes we bake things, or if they're fried or sauteed too long or grilled, we can remove some of the nutrient content of it. But if we put it into a soup, then we have tons of beautiful nutrients trapped in that lovely broth. So lovely little pro tip there. And then we want to make sure that we're eating protein. This is a tough one, especially for women as we mature, but we need to eat protein with every single meal. So having a latte and a muffin for breakfast, that's not going to cut it. Maybe that worked in our 20s. That's not going to cut it now. We want to make sure that we have some beautiful protein, looking at least 25 grams, ideally 35 grams, especially making sure that we front load that with breakfast. That's the meal that just seems to get by the wayside for us for some reason in our busy lifestyles, to keep blood sugars balanced. Make sure we're hydrating, and don't be afraid of salt. Salt has been demonized along with butter and eggs. Salt is beautiful. I actually add salt to my coffee. And I get a nice little blast of minerals. I think it makes my coffee taste a little bit sweeter. I load my coffee up. I have the recipe again in my best-selling book. But I do I mix things in and out. I pulse them in and out. I definitely have a beef isolate protein powder that I put in there. Grass-fed, just beef isolate, that's it. I'll put the link in the comments to the products I'm talking about, because quality matters. Your body is a temple. You should feed it the highest quality ingredients. That's where you need to invest in your health. Don't get the cheap ones. Don't get the knockoff brands, because then you're just introducing excess stuff that's going to likely cause imbalances and inflammation, which is what we're trying to prevent in the first place anyway. So my coffee, number one, organic coffee. Must be organic. You want to make sure you're not getting into the pesticides in your coffee in the morning. Ideally tested for mold. I have a couple companies that I love. Again, I'll put those out in the comments. I put the 25 grams of grass-fed beef isolate protein in there. I pulse in a couple different types of collagen, just depending on what my needs are at that time. So right now I'm really focused on a collagen blend that helps with bone health and joints. Fantastic. I'll add that in the comments as well. Oftentimes I'll throw in an organic mushroom blend for adaptogenic benefits. I'll pulse in either a grass-fed butter or an organic vegan, but again, you got to check the label, make sure the ingredients are clean. This is an organic vegan, which is a cashew and coconut oil. As I mentioned, I was very high for casein, so I did cut out all dairy, but if you were going to have dairy, a grass-fed butter in the coffee as well gives it a nice creaminess, makes it taste like a latte. It's delicious. And I actually put two different types of salt in currently. One that has a little higher potassium and mineral content, and then my traditional that I've always put in was pink Himalayan sea salt. And then I also add in some fiber, so that I'm getting about 6 to 7 grams of fiber, 30 to 35 grams of or more of protein, depending on which combination of beef isolate and collagen that I'm using. So I'm just hitting the ball out of the park with a home run with my cup of coffee in the morning, and then the rest of the day I'm on it. It's awesome. It's a beautiful thing. But another piece of the puzzle with salt is that oftentimes there's iodine contained in some of the salts. Iodine is important for thyroid function, but too much of a good thing is not a good thing. This is one of those. Iodine, vitamin D. There are certain levels that, yes, our body needs them, but when we start self-supplementing, we can actually give too much if we're not testing. So this is where it's very important to work with a functional practitioner like myself to make sure you're at least getting the basic blood work done, so that you know what your levels are, you know where your deficiencies are, and then once you start working to adjust them, to make sure that your body is at the level that we want, and that you're consuming the level we want, so it's balanced out. So it's not too much, not too low. Now, a beautiful thing is that when your thyroid and your body has the nutrients and has this beautiful plate that supports all of the pieces, and balances your immune system, we often see, like I said, weight being released, energy increasing, lots of beautiful side effects of holistic natural healing. So see you soon in the next one. Excited for this journey.